Hello, Glynn Pout here, and another useless invention made in my shed. It's not useless actually, it's a waste oil burner. We all come across waste oil, and what do you do with it? Well, you've got to pay a lot of money to get rid of it or take it down the skip. Well, all this stuff can be burnt very efficiently and very cleanly. I'm not sure about efficiently, but very cleanly. You'll be quite surprised. So I'm going to talk you through how to make a drip feed oil burner. So then, here's my shed. This is where it all happens. Oh yes. Okay. And I'm going to show you how to make one of these bad boys. Here's my wood burner. I've made it out of an old gas bottle, as you can probably see. Just lift the lid there, and inside is just an normal wood burner where you throw in anything you want out of your shed to keep it burning. But I thought, okay, I've got a lot of waste oil, let's make this into a multi-purpose stove, and just with a few alterations, put in the oil burning unit, blow in the air, and then suddenly we're burning waste oil when we've run out of wood. So this is the unit we're talking about. All it is, this is actually a blower from a conventional oil burning heater. It's a take two, but alternatively the first one was just a paint can with two holes drilled in the bottom that sits in fact that way, and the air gets blown in. Now let's have a quick look how this works. Here we go. So we've got a bottom on it, we've got two holes going in here and here, and this is where the air comes in. Halfway down we've just got a shelf that the burning plate sits on. Now this is the most important part of the whole oil burning process. This is just a plate of 1/4 inch steel. The reason why it's 1/4 inch is it's got to be thick enough to retain the heat once it's heated up to vaporize the oil. And if you can just see here, it's probably very hard to see, but this is just ever so slightly concave. And the reason for that is the magic behind the oil burner is so that the oil pools in the middle of the burner. I'll just show you that, a quick diagram if I can. Here we go then. So here's our plate. Okay, that's your 1/4 inch cut plate. You don't want that. What you want to do is just concave that ever so slightly. And the reason for this is if you're burning a small amount of oil, it just sits in here and vaporizes. Let's have a look at a plan view. It sits in there and vaporizes. If you want controllable heat from your oil burner, what you must do is when you turn the oil up, obviously the pool gets bigger. But what we're interested in is the evaporation pool. Now obviously the oil is going to evaporate at the shallower areas. So the more fuel you put in, the more area is likely to evaporate. So basically your flame is coming from here. To understand, when we turn it down, the evaporation zone will be only very small, and then your flame will be about there. So that's the secret behind it. One, that you've got a little concave top on your burner, and also that it's built out of very heavy gauge steel, so that once it's hot it remains hot, which makes it a lot more controllable. Okay, so we get our gauge of steel, our burning plate, and we pop it right in the centre of our burner. We make it central just by sticking a few nuts on the 4 sides of it. There we go. Now the important thing, what you've noticed here, the air goes in through the bottom, through those 2 holes, and what I've got here is holes cut out here and also holes all the way around the side of the burning plate. This means the air is forced up past the flame, and that's what gives us our roar rather than just a candle flame of oil burning. Also, you're probably wondering what these 2 things are here. Basically they're just thread rod put on. The reason for that is we have a plate here that simply fits over the top like that. Is that the right way? Yes, probably. No, probably do that the other way around. And the reason for this plate is purely just to spread the flame so it licks around the outside of the stove in the corner there. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to put it into the burner. I'll show you how quick and easy it is, and we'll light it. One other thing I must just tell you, here we go. The oil feed, there's just a jug of water upstairs in the barn, and basically just a cut-off valve. The reason why we're separated here is so that you can tell what your drip is, because it's very difficult to tell by looking at the flame how much oil is actually dripping onto the flame and how regular it is. So it just comes down through a pipe, pipe goes into the stove and just dangles, probably very difficult to see, but dangles down. It dangles down and it actually fits into this hole here on top of the diffusion plate, and that drips directly onto the burn plate. Here we are with the unit assembled. You can see the two holes there that the air is going to be pumped into, and that's just ducted through a small fan. Right, so over here is my wood burner that was burning wood yesterday. All we do is open it up and replace. Is there an aeroplane going across? Don't worry about that. We place our oil burner in there. Now this is the feed pipe. You can see it here, and that actually pushes right the way down. Just make sure that's going right into that hole, because we don't want the oil evaporating on the diffusion plate. So I'll simply do that like that. There we go. Okay, so we're all in place and we're all ready to light up our free oil burner. So what I've done is there's a fan underneath here, just a ducted fan. I've pumped it up, ducted it up through two pipes, some copper tubing, just 15mm pipe, and then those two pipes go into the bottom of the burner, and that blows past the flame. The reason I've used copper pipes rather than steel ones is they dissipate the heat before it gets to your plastic coupling, so that the plastic doesn't melt. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you how to light it. So you might be asking, how do we light the Pout patented waste oil burner? Well, the idea is we've got to get that plate hot before we start dripping oil onto it. So what I'm going to use is the trusted fire lighter bit. So all we do is we pop that in, we light it. Oh, look at that bad boy. Right, let's wait until it gets going, just plop it over the top and drop it so it's near enough on our hot plate. And basically what that's doing is just warming the plate up. Now, what I'm going to do now is switch the fan on, and you'll see what happens. And we can see that we're starting to generate a hotter flame. So what we're ready to do now is start dripping the oil onto that flame, and if we have a look up here, we'll see how we're going to regulate our oil. So I'll just open the gate valve a bit, get the oil going. There we go, and we just want it to drip about 3 or 4 a second. That'll sort itself out shortly. We'll just get some stuff down there. We don't want to flood it to start off before the plate's too hot. I probably need a better regulator than this, but there you go, that's sort of the speed you want to start off with. There we go. Okay, so you can see the oil running on to the flame as it's heating up. In fact, I'll probably put a bit too much oil in because it's starting to put it out, but we'll just hope and pray. So if we have a very close look, we may just be able to see the oil just drip feeding onto the flame. You can see it's not hot enough yet because the flame's not sort of exploding. The oil's not evaporating as soon as it hits the plate, but we've just got to give it a couple of minutes to heat up. So here we are, that's with a small drip of oil. And you can see that we've got quite a good flame. What I'm going to do now is come up here just increase the drip, whoops, to sort of a very thin treacly run, and you'll shit in your pants when you see the flame. Okay, so what we'll do now is close ourselves down. That flame at the top is happening because, oh well, whatever, no matter. Right, here we go then. We shut down, and there she is. She'll go for until the oil runs out. If you're thinking about, oh, he's using electricity so it's not really free, well, that's powered by a wind generator and a battery bank through an inverter. Another top idea from Pouty in his shed.